Hi everyone, on this week's episode I'm going to make myself a side table using this wood slice and some butterflies. Well, unfortunately I don't know the species of my timber, but if you guys do, let me know in the comments. Now I do know the species of my butterflies. I got these from one of the largest suppliers in Australia. They supply insects to places like schools, museums and collectors, and they have all their names written on the packets. But as you can see, they're a bit difficult to read. Now lucky for us, I've got a copy of my invoice, so we'll be able to identify these, but we'll talk more about that a bit later, because for now, I need to cut my wood slice in half and make myself a mould. To make my mould, I'm going to use this piece of melamine. So now that I've got all the pieces for the mould cut, I can screw it together. But before I do that, I'm going to line the inside with some clear packing tape. After screwing the mould together, I went ahead and put some clear packing tape in all these joins, that way it should prevent any leaks. Before I go ahead and put these wood slices in the mould, I want to go ahead and seal this edge with some resin, that way it'll hopefully prevent any bubbles from being released. Now that my resin's all cured on the timber pieces, I can clamp them into my mould and start pouring some resin. But before I do that, I need to make sure that my mould is nice and level. the butterflies stand out, I'm going to do this base layer white. So I've been having to think of how I want to stick down my butterflies, and I think it might be best to wait until this base layer has nearly cured, and then I can stick the butterflies in, and that way they won't move when we put on the top layer. While we're waiting for that resin to cure, let's take a look at my butterflies. I've already gone ahead and set them. Now I'm not the best at setting butterflies, but I think I did a pretty good job, and please forgive me if I don't pronounce these correctly, but down at number 1 from Peru, we have Heliconius Melpomene amaryllis. Next up, also from Peru, we have Diatheria clymena. In at number 3, also from Peru, is Paulogramma peristera. Number 4 is from the Philippines, and it's called a Graphium serpendin. And lucky last from Thailand is Delius Sanica perspicua. Now I'm not too sure if I'm going to use all these butterflies. It's really going to depend on how well they fit, because I really don't want to make it too crowded. It's now time for me to mix the resin for the main pour, and for that I'll be using river pour. Now this is mixed at a ratio of 2:1 by weight. One of the main reasons that I decided to use river pour was that it takes 24 hours to cure. So that means any air that's trapped inside these butterflies should come out. It's now been 48 hours since we poured the resin, so let's take a look. Oh wow, that looks amazing! Those butterflies look so cool. Now the resin's gone hard, but it's not fully cured yet, so I'm going to leave this another couple of days before we demold it. Well, as you can see, I made a bit of a mistake. I forgot to put packing tape under my clamping blocks, and now I've glued this piece to the top of the table. So I think my best option now is to pull all my screws out, square this up on the table saw, and then run it through my planer. Before I run it through the planer, I am going to give this a couple of hits just in case it will come off. Well, look at that. That saved me some dramas. Well, now that it's all squared up, we can start sanding. There has to be a better way. I think we need to go on a road trip. Well, that was definitely a lot easier. I just want to give a massive thank you to Hera & Forbes for letting me come in and use their drum sander, and also a big thanks to Stuart for helping me out. So even though this has gone through the drum sander and it's got it nice and flat, I still need to give it a sand with some finer grits. But before I do that, I'm going to fill in these cracks with some UV resin. So now that I've finished sanding, I can start applying the finish. Now on the underside, I'm just going to spray it with a satin clear. But on top here, I'm going to finish it off with some epoxy resin. It's now time to install my legs. Now I'm going for an industrial theme on this one, and I've decided to use some plumbing pipes, but before I install them, I need to give them a paint job. For those of you who have been on my channel for a while, you'll know that this is the first epoxy table that I've made, so I'm sure I made a couple of mistakes along the way, but in the end, I think it turned out really great. Now for my overseas friends, I hope you enjoyed that little time lapse of me travelling to Hare and Forbes. Also, I'd like to thank Peter for organising that for me. So it's now time to check out this table, and I just wanted to let you guys know that I've added a little surprise. I hope you like it. Now let's check it out.